What's up everyone, welcome back to another video. So today we're going to have a look at my first thoughts, my first team selection, potential transfers that I might make going into game week 13. So I played my wildcard in game week 12. Pretty happy with how it's gone so far, recording just before the Tottenham Leeds game takes place. So we'll see how that goes because I do have Son in my lineup. But this is how my team, at the moment, my starting 11 is lining up for game week 13. So Ramsdale in goal, Newcastle at home. Now, Newcastle scored 3 goals. So maybe they show that there's a little bit more attacking threat there now than maybe there was before. So I'm fine with Ramsdale in goal. Still think he's a great goalkeeper. He did concede 4 to Liverpool, but he had a great performance again, made a lot of saves. So still happy with him. The defence, again, James, Cancelo, Trent, all picking up attacking returns in game week 12 again. These 3 will just stay there. Maybe I need to find a way to go for another one that I maybe made a mistake on my wildcard. So should I have gone for Chilwell as well in that back 4 that I could have gone with? I did think about it a couple of times, but I'm so happy that I own these 3. And if you still don't own a Chelsea wing-back, Cancelo and Trent in your defence, please make sure that your transfers over the next couple of weeks are aimed at bringing these guys in. They are still cheaper than the midfielders that are scoring the same level of points that they are. They are still great value despite having such an increase in price compared to what they were at the start of the season. If you don't own them yet, make sure you're going to bring them in because they just don't look like they're going to stop scoring points at any point in the upcoming game week. So James or Chilwell, Cancelo and Trent are just so sort of essential now. I'm going to say it. If you don't own those sort of 3 players, make sure you've got them in your team and make sure you plan to get them in the upcoming transfers. In midfield, Salah, Gallagher, Foden, Jota and Son are all in there. Now, Jota is currently yellow flagged. He did pick up a sort of clash on the knee in game week 12 and then got substituted. We'll have to wait and see how he gets on, but I was pretty happy with his goal. A bit of a differential compared to a lot of people, so I was happy with him. This midfield looks great again. A lot of good fixtures in here, so I don't think I need particularly to use a transfer here. If Jota is injured, it's one that I will have to keep an eye on, but I'm pretty happy with how the defence, midfield, goalkeeper is all lining up this week. Now, up front, we have Antonio and Wilson. Now, both of these have a difficult fixture this week, to say the least. So Antonio is away at Manchester City, who look great defensively, conceding very few chances. There is a chance to score against them, but you have to be very clinical. But Antonio hasn't really been amongst the goals or even the assists for quite a while now, so maybe there's a chance I could move him on or even bench him this week. And then Wilson again, so I am playing him against Ramsdale. He wasn't involved in the 3 goals that they scored, which was very disappointing in game week 12. We'll review how I got on in game week 12 in a later video, but would have hoped for something a bit more, which is slightly worrying. But given that Newcastle showed there's a bit of attacking threat, I'm quite happy to still start him in game week 13. So that is how my lineup is at the moment. In terms of my bench, in terms of my transfers, so you can see on just below me here that I have 1 free transfer and I have exactly 0.0 million in the bank. I spent all of my money on my wildcard in game week 12. But on my bench at the moment, it is White, Livramento and Davies. Now, White has Newcastle at home. I will have a decision to make. Do I play Antonio away at Manchester City or do I play White at home to Newcastle? Right now, if I don't make a transfer, this is probably where I'd be going. This is probably the only decision that I would want to make. If Jota is out, again, I could save my transfer and play White. Although if I have an injured player in Jota, then I'd probably look to transfer him out. And we'll look at some potential replacements in a minute when we get my team up on screen, start clicking through it all. So White is first on my bench for this week. Foster is my backup goalkeeper. He did pick up an assist, an incredible assist. He's had a penalty save and an assist in the past 2 weeks. For any of you who started Foster in both those games, let me know in the comment section down below. But for now, Foster, White, Livramento and Davies is my bench. White could find his way into my starting 11, but if not, he will be my first sub. But with that in mind, let's go and have a look. We'll get my team up on screen now, have a click around on the official FPL website, start having a look at some potential transfers that I could make going into game week 13. So, team up on screen here. Just before we dive into doing those transfers, a reminder that all money raised from my channel, whether that's ads, whether that's donating below, whether that's signing up to join as a member, which there are 2 tiers, or it's super chats and live streams, all of that raised during December will be going to charities. If you are interested, below the video on desktop, there will be a little join button. But let's get in and have a look at some potential transfers that I can make, both in my midfield if Jota is injured and potentially up front. Foden, the flag on Foden remains from before the start of game week 12, so he's fine, but I will need to look potentially if Jota is is out, or if I want to move either Wilson or Antonio on. So first up here, we've taken Jota out. We've got 7.5 million in the bank, and we've got the midfielders on the right hand side sorted by their form. Now there are definitely some on this list that I am intrigued and could bring in if he is injured. Cornet at the top has to be one that we are looking at now. Although he's a Burnley attacker, he has returned very well in the past few weeks. We've got returns in 3 of the past 4 weeks. 15, 10 and 7 as well. So not just small returns, big returns as well. Now the upcoming fixtures are okay. Tottenham at home, Wolves away, then Newcastle, West Ham, Watford, but he seems to be playing a sort of a second striker and is just 6.1 million, and I think he's a really nice option and still a big differential at just 2% owned. I really like him at his price and is definitely one of those options that I'm considering getting into my own team. The next one is Smith Rowe of Arsenal. So again, returns are good. Didn't get anything against Liverpool, but that is fair enough. Before that, 13, 9 and 8 points. And the upcoming fixtures as well are nice. Newcastle, Manchester United, Everton, Southampton, West Ham, Leeds, Norwich, all on the horizon for Arsenal. 5.8 still. He's gone up in price a bit, but still a great option for us for sure. The next two that I'd consider, Bowen. I'm not sure if I'd want to double up on West Ham, especially given that they play Manchester City, Brighton and Chelsea, as well as Arsenal all in the next 5. Over Christmas, a double up with Bowen Antonio is definitely possible, so I am considering him long term, but probably not in the short term. And the final one that we're looking at is, of course, Trossard. So he seems to be playing up front for Brighton at the moment, seeing he's got a goal in the past 2 games, and the upcoming fixtures for Brighton are definitely good. Leeds at home, West Ham, Southampton in the next 3. He is an option. He is cheap as well, 6.5 and a differential. So if Jota is out, I think Cornet, Smith Rowe or Trossard would be the ones that I'd go with. The other option and transfer that we'll look at now is potentially if I go for a forward, although not that many have been scoring points, but Wilson and Antonio were a bit of a disappointment in Gameweek 12, so there is a chance that that's where I use my transfer if Jota is fine and doesn't need transferring out. So now if we look at the forward, so I've taken Wilson out, but we've got about 7.9 if I sold Antonio. So the issue is a lot of the forward scoring points are not being consistent and they're very sporadic, so it's hard to make transfers. The Watford guys do have, a good run of form and they're very cheap, so if I wanted them for potentially a rotation or on my bench over the Christmas period from sort of game week 16 to 23, it could work. But I don't expect them to consistently continue to score points. Jimenez, I think, is fine, but only for the very short term. Norwich and Burnley in the next 2 is great, but then after that, it does get much more difficult, and I won't really want Jimenez in my team, so it's a very short-term punt on him. Benteke, yes, he did well this week, got a few points. Now, he's always showed good form, and if Crystal Palace continue to play the way they are, then I think there's points in these games for him. He is one that I'm considering, but if I have Gallagher, I'm not really sure I want an attacking double up on these 2. And then if we look lower down the list, potentially we could go with the likes of Armstrong. Southampton's fixtures are okay, not great. Liverpool this week. And then the final one is, are we going to see an Aston Villa bounce for the likes of Ollie Watkins that could make him a great option? Now, they do have Man City and Liverpool in the next 4, but after that, over Christmas, there is a really nice run of fixtures all the way down to the likes of Game Week 28. So maybe not one for now, which means I'm unlikely to make a forward transfer. I'll either be rolling, I think, and not making one if Jota is fine, and if Jota is out, I'll probably making one transfer to replace him with one of the options that we have mentioned. So that's my first thoughts. Drop any comments or questions on your team in the comment section down below. If you have enjoyed, please do consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. There'll be plenty more to come, streams, videos, everything like that. If you have enjoyed, like and subscribe, and I will see you all very soon.